For a relationship to be its best, both partners should treat each other equally. You both should have equal share in all things in your relationship. So here's some things to consider when you're trying to figure out if you are creating things equally in your relationship. When making big decisions, do you or your spouse have to come to each other for permission or for discussion? Permission indicates there is an inequality because one partner controls the relationship in some way. Discussion is different when you come together to discuss the things that you're wanting to do in your relationship or in your life, in your house, whatever it may be. Totally different.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
All right, lady, let's just get the obvious out of the way, shall we? You don't want a discussion. You just want to be in charge. And I personally get uncomfortable with the idea of putting you in charge of a box of toothpicks, let alone an entire relationship. So I'm just gonna say it. Equal partnerships are impossible, mainly because the concept of equality can't be measured. That baseline for what you think is quote-unquote equal is solely determined by you and what you feel like doing that week. You never hear men complaining about equality, and that's because they don't get a say in what's equal. And women who demand dominion over the relationship, equal partnerships, will always try to act like they're the reasonable ones. Just take a look at this shrew. That needlessly smug grin speaks volumes. And maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I don't see the difference between having a discussion and asking for permission. Both involve you giving your blessing to your husband to go do something. It's just that one option wastes more time and gives you more opportunities to pretend to be a victim.
Are household tasks and chores divided up equally, or is there some expectations that one partner should or should not do more of the tasks? This includes things like handling schedules and the mental load. Now, if you suspect unequalness, especially if you are the one that is causing the inequality, think about if your partner treated you the way you treated them, would you be okay with that?
You know, you're really just full of There's the John. Okay?
Woman, I'm gonna spell this out for you. Your mental load is what keeps the dividing of the household tax from being equitable. There's no way for the chores to be divvied up evenly. Even if you divide up an even number of tasks, it will still be considered uneven in your eyes. Allow me to explain. Let's say that you cook dinner, do the dishes, and mop the kitchen floor. Your husband does the laundry, cleans the bathroom, and mows the lawn. You'll argue that your husband did nothing because he misplaced the decorative soaps, didn't fold the towels correctly, and didn't mow the lawn symmetrically enough to your liking, thus adding onto your mental load, thus making your married life a living hell of inequality, patriarchy, and all the bitterness you can spew at a man whose only crime was being stupid enough to love you. The mental load is the ultimate get-out-of-equality card for you because it allows you to control the relationship while giving zero considerations to the things that your husband does for you. And that's why the mental load will always be a load of horse poop!
Your partner isn't your child. They're not your project. They are your partner, and you should treat them as an equal partner in all things that you do. That means compromises have to happen and conversations about things, but treat each other with respect and love in all things, and you can accomplish that and have the best happiness that you can find.
I don't think any of that's true.
All right, tapioca brains, let's go there. A relationship is not a partnership, okay? Partnerships are for buddy cops, lawyers, and pool hall shenanigans, but it's not like any of that matters anyway. We already know that you don't want equality, you just want control. We know this because these modern housewives who demand these so-called equal partnerships are so quick to say that her job is not to be a mother to her man-child husband. And at no point does she think that insult might be a little bit uncalled for. You're implying that husbands are somehow incapable of self-sufficiency, even though they were clearly self-sufficient before the day you cursed them with your toxic brand of stench. Under that rationale, no matter what this guy does, he will always be an incompetent oaf. So, with you having zero faith in your husband to do the most basic of tasks, how can anything ever be equal, woman? It can't, because you're incapable of being grateful for anything that man does. And at that point, all you're capable of doing is making your husband an empty shell of a man
whose life must be an unendurable hellscape of excruciating sadness.
I had a wild dream last night where all of the people in the world that have ever said it's not all men get put in a game show, and they get confined to a tank with snakes in and told they're not all venomous. And if at any point they show any signs of physiological or psychological stress, they're out. And I feel like it's such a good analogy that my brain made for how a lot of people feel at the moment. Because if you see a snake, you're not going to try and discern whether it's venomous or not. You're just not going to go near it.
Really?
Well, we actually have something in common, because I had a dream where I was driving a truck that was loaded down with butter pants. It's like they're pants, except they're made out of butter. And I was driving down this darkly lit desert road while being attacked by flies who, instead of buzzing, were blaring the chorus to ELO's Don't Bring Me Down. And I remember a sword, and I think Burt Reynolds was there, but I kind of forget why. It was a weird dream, but, wait, I'm sorry. I thought we were competing to see who had the most absurd dream, because under the rules that I just made up, I won. But that's because your dream is stupid. If you honestly thought that men were really that dangerous, then why is it you feel comfortable posting blanket accusations about men online? You would think that if men were these dangerous, violent psychopaths, that posting a video where you compare them to snakes would kinda sorta be a bad idea, don't you think? And when you throw in the idea that modern women think that mean comments are the same thing as intergalactic genocide, then you would be too terrified of these evil men to even speak out. But here you are, freely calling us deadly maniacs, and you have zero repercussions from the patriarchy for doing so. Gee whiz, it's kinda hard to wonder why.
And it was the same for me. For a long time, I just cut all of the men off in my life because I was like, I can't discern between a dangerous man and a not dangerous man, so I'm not even gonna go there. And honestly, after reading some comments on the internet about various things, it just makes me want to go around with a load of cookies in my bag and like offer them to someone and be like, have them. They're not all poisonous. And if someone eats a poisonous one, they should have been more careful.
That's not only unethical, Reginald, it's illegal.
All right, full disclosure, gentlemen and gents, I've actually made an analogy similar to what she said in a past video, except when I did it, it was actually funny. So it wouldn't be right for me to just blindly write off what this woman is saying in its entirety, even though my superior analogy was more geared towards the fervent support of the poisoner and not the victim, and depending on how sophisticated you want to be, it's also a pastiche on the overwhelming global support of corporate malfeasance, but that's neither here nor there, which is why I stand by my remarks from that previous video. What you're talking about is the same thing for men, lady. Men run the risks of being with a woman who will ruin him in every way imaginable for the pettiest of reasons. She can file a false claim against him, ruin him financially, and even get him swatted for no other reason outside of butthurt feelings. And even in the face of all of that adversity, you don't hear a lot of men blaming all women for the sins of a gaggle of accountability-free harlots. Even I do my best to avoid terms like all women, because despite my opinions, even I know it is not all women.
Because basically that is how victim blaming feels. Because of course you're not going to know which cookies are poisoned. It's not your fault, it's the person's fault that gave them to you. So it's never the survivor's fault. It is the person that abused their trust.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby! Don't you put that on us!
All right, let's go there, woman. If you get 1,000 emails from people telling you to be strong and giving you support and kissing your ass, if one man sends you an email saying that you should have picked a better man, then all of a sudden, All men are evil, violent, toxic demons. I don't know where you got this absurd notion that abusive relationships are somehow only exclusive to women, but there are plenty of men out there who have had traumatic relationships with women who were physically, emotionally, and even sexually abusive. The pendulum swings both ways, I know. Go figure, right? The only difference is when you tell your story, you get sympathy. When men tell theirs, they get mockery and ridicule. That's why you don't hear about them. Men don't open up about their traumas because modern women are quick to judge them, laugh at them, and emasculate them for any reason. So stop acting like you have a monopoly on being a victim. It happens to men more often than you think.
Well, something about that is just downright unsettling.
Do I actually make good money doing OF? Curious. This screenshot is for you, and it's also for the people that keep asking me why I show my camel toe on TikTok and why I flash my pants and other things like that. It's because I make this kind of money, and I would say that's pretty good money for someone my age. I had a really good month in April. Hopefully I'll get back up there. I just haven't been making very many new TikToks recently because I've been so busy. But yeah, in an answer to your question, yeah, I make really good money from OF.
That's why I praise the Lord for prostitutes.
I don't think that's the flex you think it is, sister. That's just you proving to the world that you not only sold your soul, but you sold it for the most unoriginal thing imaginable. Yeah, you may have made a bunch of money, but the entire planet has now seen you naked. And if you ask me, that's nothing to be proud of. That kind of pride is reserved for all of us who made it over to Skeeter's house last weekend. We met up there to help him load up his jet skis and then headed out to the old pontoon boat for one last hurrah at the lake. We just stocked up on some old school super soakers and then proceeded to bro out while playing cops and robbers on jet skis. The pontoon boat acted as our precinct and we took turns pretending to be the police chief who'd chew out the loose cannon cops. We then chipped in a couple of bucks and Skeeter called up a guy whose roommate actually forged up replica police badges, and we ended up buying a whole bunch that we could wear around our neck because those things are freaking cool. And hanging out at Skeeter's taught us a very valuable lesson that day. And no matter how good of an idea you think you have, it's always a better one when it doesn't require the price of your soul.
Hell yeah!
So I have an event to go to tonight at 5 p.m., which means I need to leave my house around 4:30 p.m. in order to get there on time because, you know, traffic. That means I need to be ready at 4 p.m. because I want to allow myself 30 minutes to take cute photos, but it's going to take me 30 minutes to pick out an outfit, so I need to start picking out my outfit at 3:30 p.m. in order to be ready by 4 p.m. But I also want to curl my hair, and that also takes me 30 minutes, so I'm going to have to start doing that at 3 p.m. And then before that, I'll do my makeup, which usually takes me about an hour, but I think I want to make a cute little get ready with me, so I'll add an extra 30 minutes for that. So total, it's gonna take me an hour and a half to do my makeup. So I'll have to start doing that at 1:30 p.m. But I'm gonna wanna edit the get ready with me video before I leave so I can post it in real time. So I'm gonna allow myself an extra 15 minutes for that. So that puts me at 1:15 p.m. But before all that, I wanna take an everything shower. I wanna shave, exfoliate, wash my hair, do a face mask, the whole shebang. And that usually takes me 45 minutes. So that puts me at 12:30. And what time is it right now? 12:30. So all in all, I need to start getting ready right now in order to be at my event by 5 p.m. Girl math.
So get off your ass, let's do some math. Math.
Lady, please, none of this is necessary because even when you're trying the girl math, you still manage to completely screw it up. You're forgetting a whole bunch of things. You're going to need 30 minutes to angrily rummage around for your hair curler, an additional 45 minutes to stalk your ex on social media. And when you do that, we better add an additional 90 minutes of ugly crying once you realize that your ex from high school is married with 3 kids and has a wife who is objectively hotter than you. Then there's the extra 20 minutes of toilet time to deal with the can of cake frosting and ice cream you ate the night before because you had nothing better to do. And I'm going to assume that you can multitask, so that will include the 10 minutes of guilt and negative self-talk for eating such a thing. And let's not forget the 3 hours of endless social media doom scrolling you gotta do before you even get out of bed that morning. but that will not include the hour you dictate to stalking your gym crush across 3 separate social media platforms. And even when I give you a generous 4 hours to veg out on your couch to rewatch a bunch of reality television as you live a crippling life of meaningless solitude, you're still going to be a minimum of 3 hours late getting out the door. And that is why you never let a woman do the man's job of figuring out girl math. And that is going to do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.